I was breathing heavily the other day, and like I didn't even realize. And Ian's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "You sound like
like mouth breathing."
And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that." He thought I was mad. He's like, "You sounded mad." I'm like, "What was I doing?" I'm not mad at all. I'm actually really happy.
I'm just chilling.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, Thomas. You have to listen to this bullshit. Hello, my people. Oh, we're going to do cheers before we even start the episode. This is how the episode starts.
Wow, I need to polish that glass. Anyways, cheers.
This one?
It's from me. So.
It's okay. I'm Dahlia. Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm your favorite host of Quiche My Ass.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you.
Nicole.
Yeah, wow. You remember your name. And welcome to another Monday. Whoop, whoop. Got it. I had to put that in there. Had to put a little noise, you know what I mean? This week we have an amazing guest. I haven't seen her in probably a year now. Yeah.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. And it's Jess.
Hi.
Jess, you want to tell us what you do right now?
I got myself into something. So during COVID, I started doing chocolate out of my home, and then it kind of evolved, and I outgrew it, and now I have a storefront. It's going to be opening in fall, so.
Woo!
Yeah, brick and mortar.
Yeah.
How
you go.
did you get this storefront?
It kind of just evolved, honestly. I was kind of just looking for a studio space just to get licensed and get legit and be able to have a space to actually keep up with the production that I was getting and to, I was outgrowing myself, and I promised when I felt stunted that I would do the next step, which is like a big step because it just kind of like explodes after that. Yeah. So I was looking at studios, and I was like, this, just for a couple $100s more, there are like actual storefronts. But then like just the responsibility that comes with owning a storefront just kind of was scaring me a little bit. So I was still looking at studios, and then I was talking to friends, and they had so much business just from foot traffic that I was like, you know what? Like, screw it. Like, I'm just gonna go for it, because what's the point of paying for a space and not being able to have the foot traffic at the same time? So yeah, I lucked out. I was, there's this realtor that was kind of acting as a broker for me, but wasn't charging me. And we were kind of looking. Yeah, and everything just kind of was aligning, which kind of just made it easier to go with it, because in New York, we all know how hard it is to actually have stuff align, where you're just like, why can't I get this done? Just even little things. So, it was just kind of like natural how it was happening, and he was looking out for me and what I wanted, and I don't need a lot of square footage, and I'm not going to technically be a cooking facility, so it didn't limit me as much.
Do you need a license for, like, a cooking license?
Yeah, you need a food processing license. So anything to do with food, if you're making it or producing it, you need to get a food processing license. I think like the it's like some agriculture section and then like the health department, and both of them like inspect you. So, I was kind of just going with food cottage laws for a little bit, or like riding that wave and just hoping something didn't totally go wrong. But, we worked in fine dining. Like, we know how to keep stuff, clean. Properly. And we've taken all the classes. I was a chef at one point, or sous chef. But, so it just kind of, I found this spot, and
where?
Greenpoint.
Okay.
Yes.
Which was amazing, because.
Did you expect Greenpoint?
What's that?
Were you expecting Greenpoint?
Not at all. I mean, that sounds so out of my pay range. Like, I was kind of looking at my neighborhood, but it worked out where it was like, there's a basement. The landlord was really nice.
Greenpoint is foot traffic. Like, that is where the foot traffic.
Yeah, totally.
The subways are barely there.
Totally.
So
and
that's
exactly.
Great.
And it's also just nice not being in a neighborhood where, I don't live far from here, and I was like looking around here, and it was just like a lot of, I don't want to have to worry as much about like being there late at night, or, not that those things matter, but then you have you have all the expensive equipment and the worry that comes with that.
And your routine of going in and out every day alone is like, you need to be in a good neighborhood.
Yeah. And it was just like, like they appreciated that I was coming in with this kind of business, so they dropped like the rent price like $1,500 a month for me.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm not just bringing in another smoke shop or like another deli. It's like kind of in a neighborhood. It's like Manhattan. It's like 2 streets away from Manhattan, like in Greenpoint and Nassau. So like Nassau is a stop. It's like a 5-minute walk from the subway. So, you know, it's like in this area where there isn't a ton on that street, but it's like a 5-minute walk to where everything else is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of perfect because I'm getting in before, you know,
everyone else
there's a new condo building across the street. There's women with strollers. So
that's
it's like,
nice.
you know, I feel like those are good signs of consumerism.
Of life.
Yeah.
So we're going to rewind completely.
Yeah.
What got you started because you were in the pastry world. We met Jess. I met Jess when I was working at Danielle as a cook, and you were already not a cook.
I don't know what my job title is when we met.
You were doing stuff like personally with Danielle, I think.
Yeah.
By the time
As
I was
the
there.
culinary
Or you had
manager.
like just moved up, or
Yeah.
like you were working towards that but didn't fully have you were doing it.
I was doing something.
So
yeah.
I want to talk about before I met you. Like, where
Yeah.
were you? How did you end up in New York City? Because I know
Yeah.
you're not from New York City or this coast at all.
Yeah. So I always wanted to be out here, and I knew that, but there's stuff that, you know, I had on my checklist back home, and
Which is?
it was just certain restaurants and working with, you know, I wanted to get
okay.
enough experience and like just saving up money and kind of doing it at the right time.
Okay.
So I started my first baking job. Oh my God, I wish I could go back and just kill it there. But my boss, I was working at this like little cafe in Petaluma where I grew up, which is North Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend was the baker there. And I was just like, damn, that chick's fucking cool. Like, I want that job. She was just badass. She worked really hard. And so she was going to kind of push me into that position, but she ended up leaving and came out to New York. And then I just took over, like my boss for some reason just let me take the like I was the baker at 21.
Did you go to school?
No,
for it, or-
I didn't know what I was doing. It was like science
Wow.
experiments every day. I had no idea.
You're like, oh, wish you good luck.
Yeah. So I had a lot of cooking experience. Like my dad's Italian, so I grew up, you know, like cooking was a big part of
Yeah.
what we did. So I had like a background on how to do things, but I mean, it was awesome because that kind of kickstarted what I wanted to do. I was originally supposed to go for get my BA in photography, and I had like a scholarship lined up, and I like kept blowing it off for these baking jobs. And so I did the cafe, and then I went to an artisan bread bakery in Oakland. It was a wood fire
nice.
oven, and so I did that for a couple years, and then he kind of led me. I kind of realized I wanted to do pastry. Like I wanted to be more refined. Like bread baking's fun, but it's definitely like salt of the earth type.
You have to be a different
work.
person to
Yeah.
do it.
Early mornings, like midnight,
Yeah.
I'd get to work sometimes, and you're just working until like 5 p.m. and then you like go to sleep for a few hours and wake up and
your
go back.
life is so backwards.
So different. But I'm glad I did it then because I was young. I was like
Yeah.
23.
And you know it now.
Yeah, and so I have that experience, which a lot of pastry people don't even have.
Yeah,
like
they don't
bread
even know where to
experience.
start.
So it helped me because then from there I went to school. Sorry, I don't know if I'm like rambling.
No,
But,
this is what we want to hear.
Yeah, so then from the Firebrand, I then he kind of was really supportive, and I got really close to them because we worked so much together that, you know, they just kind of became my other family. And he was really supportive and would take us to schools to be like, oh yeah, this is this pastry school and this pastry school. So
that's
then
nice.
San Francisco Cooking School, we went to Killed by Desserts there. And so Christina Tozzi and Bill Corbett and, you know, some other kind of big names at the time were doing their little stands where you go and then you pay them for their pastries, and then it all goes to donations. And
that's
I
nice.
walked in and I was like, this school's so cool. It was like Le Creuset everything, and, you know, super shiny new facility. And we were the first pastry class there.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so my chef in school was Nicole Plew, who was actually in New York for a long time in fine dining, and she got a James Beard Award, and
Nice.
so that was a really good experience, and I feel like it definitely benefited me to like know what I'm getting into beforehand, because I think, you know, there's not many people that are still in the industry that were in my class, just because
Yeah.
you don't, you like,
The
you don't,
dropout rate is ridiculous in culinary school.
you're like, oh, I get paid what? And I have to do what?
on
and
the
I don't,
weekends,
yeah.
holidays? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's
I'm not a
true.
chef.
So
Like-
many people from my culinary school, they
Yeah.
aren't even cooking. I'm like, how do you I never stopped.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
to
It is
see.
interesting for me too.
Yeah.
And our high school teachers always ask us every year on Facebook, because we have an alum class just for
Yeah.
culinary, and they always ask us, like, we know that a lot of you aren't in the industry, but we want to know what you do. And like every
Yeah.
year it's 1,000 answers, obviously, because it was high school, so everyone graduated. The rate was normal.
Totally.
And a lot of people are not in the industry. A lot of people are, but like not even cooking, like not even close to the kitchen. They're like, oh, I'm doing sales, or I'm
Yeah.
doing this, I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
I know it is. It's interesting. It kind of like weeds it out. It's like, oh, it's all the people that like to get tortured. I feel like
Yeah.
that are left. Like we all have like a little piece of us that needs that like.
We're all
adrenaline.
We
crazy.
need a little, like,
Yeah.
we all need something.
Yeah. So that's and that's what's so cool about kitchens is I do miss. That's one thing about doing my own thing is I do miss that like camaraderie, because I mean
Do
you're on
you
a sinking
think that
ship
you're
every day.
gonna get that, like create a team and everything soon?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know how soon I'm going to see what I can manage on my own, but that's kind of the cool thing about this is I'm not somebody who jumps into things.
Yeah.
I like, I'm like a slow decision maker. I feel it out. I like think about it a lot. So I have a feeling it'll happen, but it's not just going to be like, oh,
Tomorrow,
boom, here's
yeah.
my team. It's going to kind of be like, I'm screwed and I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to have someone.
Yeah, it's just, but that's my downfall is like, I'm just bad at asking for help because I'm like, whatever, by the time I explain it, I can just do it. But that's not really how it works. It
I
feels
feel like
that,
you
but
could learn.
yeah.
Yeah, especially
So-
when you want to.
Are you only doing chocolates? Or
Um,
are you having any bread by any chance?
I will not be doing bread making. I am not into that on my own. If there's a production facility already set up, I love shaping it. But that's like, I mean, it just bread's so, people don't realize like
It's so
what
much.
goes into it with like 3 ingredients, 4 ingredients.
It's
you
a
know,
lot of
and then
work.
it's just,
So much time
Yeah.
and blood and sweat and tears.
yeah. And I love shaping, but I don't think I get the same like reward out of it
Yeah.
as I do with chocolate, because I was in fine dining and restaurants, and then in school even I was kind of like introduced to chocolate like during our chocolate course, and it terrified me, but it's because I liked it the most.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't want to mess up
So you
at
did love
it.
chocolate from
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
remember just like, I mean, if my teacher knew that I was making chocolate now in my own company, she'd probably be cracking up because
Who's the teacher? Can you give a shout out to the teacher?
yeah, Chef Nicole Ploux.
Oh, it is Nicole
Yeah.
Flo.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's tough, and it was great because it just prepares you for the world. But
Awesome.
I was definitely like timid, and even when it came to chocolate writing, because I didn't want to mess it up, because it was
Yeah.
the thing that like kind of mattered the most to me.
And with chocolate, it's
Yeah.
like you get one chance.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, all baking, you get one chance, but chocolate is so
like a 4-day process, and then you don't realize you mess it up until the like 3rd, 4th day, and you're like, oh cool, now I have to throw it all away.
Right, great.
So after school, you went to New York?
What did I do after school? No, okay, so after school, I went to I did my externship with Bill Corbett for a few months and got hired on, and then myself and another girl, we both got let go because they had to make cuts, so we were the 2 newest hires. And then from there, I went to RN74, which is now International Smoke, which is Aisha Curry's restaurant, but it's like the same building. They just kind of like took over it. So it's part of the Mina Group, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
But it was like French
Right.
kind of fine dining, but not Danielle's level, but we had like a definitely like lengthy Bordeaux wine list. So that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then there I met I kind of consider him a mentor. And then I worked for him. He came on that team at RN74, like part way, like 6 months into me already working there.
Mm-hmm.
And we became really close. And I worked for him for like a year and a half there, and then went to Europe, took a 3-month hiatus.
Oh, nice.
And then
Where in Europe?
I was staying with friends that were living in France, and then I just kind of would take my backpack and then do,
Whatever.
all the other fun stuff.
Nice.
On like the weekends and whatnot. And then when I came back, I didn't really know where to land, but I really loved chocolate. And my friend that got let go at Absinthe with me, she was working at the chocolate shop. And so that kind of like brought up, how do I say it? Like, it reminded me that that's like something I can do, because when you're looking at jobs, it's kind of like I just think strictly restaurants, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't have to
Or
do
you
restaurants.
think like what you've been
Right.
doing or went to school for,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what, that would be really cool to do that, like just not do service and just kind of get that skill, because I was kind of thinking of it as like a tool belt, where it's like, hey, I have bread, I want chocolate, you know, I'd love to have lamination in there, but it just didn't end up like that.
Yeah.
So I applied there and then was hired and worked there for like around a year, maybe a little bit more, and then went to a restaurant and then went back to San Francisco at a different restaurant, and then I was there with my boss from RN74, and I worked there for him as a sous chef.
Oh, nice.
And
then-
pastry.
Yeah, in pastry. And then it was there that I, you know, it was like after working for a little bit, I kind of decided I wanted to make moves to move to New York. He was more than supportive.
Which is great. Literally, you always need a manager that wants you to grow as a person outside.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best people. So I was really fortunate, because also, you know, I only did like a year and a half stint there, so that's not very long for, you know,
Yeah.
so he was really patient and accepting of that. But I just kind of felt like, you know, there's nothing really left for me to get.
Yeah.
And so that's why in New York, I had a lot of friends in New York, and I just wanted that as a part of my experience. And so I wasn't really expecting to stay out here. I was like, oh, I'll put in a year or two. And now I'm
that's
going on like my
everyone's
fourth year, and I love it, and I can't really see
And
myself
you
doing
just
anywhere
got
else.
a place for a chocolate
Yeah.
store.
I know. So then, when I got here, and then Danielle, and
Then the pandemic.
COVID, and
Yeah.
just kind of naturally happened. So,
What made you sit in your apartment and be like, I'm just going to start selling my chocolate?
honestly, my roommate had friends that were doing chocolate, and
Oh,
they
really?
didn't. They were doing it, and I was just like, well, they're doing it. Like, I can do this shit. Like, I want to do that. Like, I should make
You're
some
like,
money.
I can do it better too.
Well, and I think I was at such a, I don't know if you both felt like this, but there's a period of time where, like, you know, I really want to advance to, you know, I want to constantly be working towards something in my career. And I just felt like there's like this dead area, and
Yeah.
I just felt so stagnant, and I felt so crappy about myself that I just needed to figure out something to focus on.
Yeah, we were just
And,
talking
like, a
about that.
change.
Because, like, the
Yeah.
confidence level that we received,
Yeah.
like, in the past few years, we were, like, just losing it.
Yeah.
So when the
Totally.
pandemic hit, you're like, I'm a woman. I'm fucking strong. I could
Yeah.
fucking make money.
I'm good at my
Totally.
job. I'm worth
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
worth more, I think, is what I got out of the whole pandemic, was like, I'm worth way more than
Yeah.
I gave myself. And I'm glad I worked hard in the places, but
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
that.
Well, I was told by a chef one time, it was like my first restaurant job, and they were like, you don't get a gold star for doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is being perfect. And I was like, cool. So I don't get
Which is
congratulated
like,
on anything.
I'm glad we got like that
Yeah.
toughness. Like we
Yeah.
weren't hit with a belt, but like
Yeah.
we were like slashed with words.
Totally. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, I'm glad that I have all the experience that I have had.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, I don't know if you both feel like this, but I don't feel like I realized that until post leaving, where I'm like, oh, I know things. Like,
Yeah, no, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because when you're stuck somewhere, they just assume like you don't know anything, or you never really.
They don't want you
A
to-
lot of places don't let you fully shine until you go somewhere new, and
Yeah.
then they allow you to see.
And
it.
the bar keeps getting raised because you keep raising the bar, so then
Right.
more is expected, which
And
is good.
I
because
think
it
a
keeps
lot
you
of people,
going.
because we haven't
Yeah.
talked to people from the Danielle pastry,
Yeah.
it's a different world.
Oh yeah.
It's like when I first met the pastry team, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the military over there. Like,
Yeah.
I am not touching their territory. Like,
Yeah.
hell no, I don't need bombs thrown at me. And they were thrown at at the cooks with like sometimes. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are perfect. I can't even look at you. And
Yeah.
then I obviously, I talk a lot.
Yeah, the Danielle pastry team is crazy. It's so intense.
Yeah.
It's always
So
been
intense.
that way.
Yeah.
Even though the days that I have worked,
Maybe let me say this: it's so intense for the morning shifts
Yeah. More. Well, and
I would
because there's so much production. That
I
needs to
wouldn't
be
say
done.
that. I would say it's a 50-50 in a different way.
yeah,
in
it's
a
just
different way.
because we have service has all the responsibility of what happens.
Yeah.
And then, like, the morning team has a responsibility of like
the
making
product,
the stuff.
yeah.
So it's kind of like they go synonymously with each other, and I've worked both, and both are
Hard.
difficult. But I
Yeah.
felt like it was difficult in the right places because I've worked at restaurants where it was just complete chaos.
Yeah.
And so it's hard, but it's not constructive hard.
That's what I'm saying.
Whereas-
It's military
yeah,
hard.
like at Danielle was like, you're pushing yourselves, but it's not going backwards. It's like you're pushing towards something, and there was like organization, so you didn't feel crazy. So everybody had like
crazy.
roles, and that.
But I wouldn't say that that's how the restaurant ran. Only the pastry team.
Yeah, and see, that's funny because that's like what I know because we were kind of
we were separated.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was when I got to Danielle. Honestly, I was like so excited because
Were you intimidated at all?
Oh, of course I was. My stage, Jacques Pepin, was like eating. Like, I was like, what? You know, because San Francisco, you don't get the same kind of celebrities. Like, at Danielle, after a while, I was just like, oh, cool. Like,
another football player.
But, like, for me, I was just like, what? Like, you know, it was super exciting.
The culinary celebrities walking in are actually pretty insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Because you don't know who they are sometimes because you just know the name.
And there's so many chefs to, you know.
I know. There's so many. And I'm just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, when I was in school, I was so good about reading on everyone and like knowing everything. And then once you start working, you're like, I don't want to read more about kitchens. Like,
exactly. I don't want to watch TV about it. I don't want to listen to it. But we created a podcast.
Yeah, we did.
We created.
But I think our podcast is different because we want to talk to the people who are making a difference in waves now.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going back in the people of, you know, the greatest of all times. Like, those people are really interesting, but I think we want to show that there's more than just those people that are restaurant owners. It's like there's so much more variety.
And what makes it possible for those restaurant owners to even get what they want is
like
the
for
staff.
all we know, somebody could be listening and they're like, oh my gosh, I could open a chocolate shop, or oh my gosh, I could be a bartender. And like they just didn't even think that it was an option. They think they're stuck in their 9-to-5 job, not realizing there are all these other opportunities than just working in a restaurant.
For a cook, but
but what I'm saying is these people, other like even normal people, are stuck in
I know. Actually, one of your neighbors, you don't know him, but he's like a few doors down. I catered a party 3 doors down as well, and he was a guest. And the next day, he saw me like sitting on the stoop, and he's like, "Oh my God, you were the chef from last night." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I create websites for a living, but like I really want to go to culinary school, but I'm 32 years old and I have so much passion." And I was like, "Just go. Like you don't know.
Just go. Or just get it. Don't go to culinary school. Just get a job in a restaurant.
Because you're gonna have to relearn it. That's how I feel. But it's different for everybody.
I feel like if you're older, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, when I was 18 going to school, I just needed to finish school. I didn't care that I was in culinary school. I literally was just rushing through college because I was like,
you did CIA?
No, I did Johnson & Wales.
Oh, that's right.
But I felt like if I go now, I would learn probably 100% what they're teaching.
Oh, totally.
But like I was there and I probably learned 10%.
I mean, I think that's kind of what happened with me is I went to culinary school. After. Like, I was already a sous chef. I had already been working since I was 14 in a kitchen. So by the time I went to culinary school, I was like 21, I think. And I think I absorbed a lot more because I already knew, like, I didn't have to grasp my head around the basic concepts because I already knew
That's where I think mine was kind of similar too because I was like baking before that. So you kind of, you know.
You're like, I know what the mother sauces are already. I already know what this is. So you can remember the smaller details that others are just trying to remember what the sauces are.
Totally.
When you can remember what actually...
It's just natural.
It's really interesting. I see what you're saying. When you go as more of an adult, you absorb it more.
When I was a kid, I was an idiot. Not an idiot, but like I just didn't care.
It's different. You don't have the same idea of responsibility or holding yourself to anything because you're just going through it.
So I want to go back to your chocolate.
Yeah.
What is the name of it? Why did you choose that name? Because I didn't know it was you when you first started following me on Instagram. I'm like, who is this?
That's funny. So Borough Chocolates. I was just trying to think of a name because of, you know, being stuck in New York for a couple of years without being able to leave because of COVID. And also just, it literally is the reason that I'm able to do it. Like, you can't just, like, start a side hustle anywhere and make it work. Like, New York is a very special place that, like, I hold dear to my heart, especially going through all this because I feel like anything that you want, if you work towards it, like, it will happen out here. There's no cap on stuff.
In New York, there's no cap.
Yeah. No. So it was kind of just like trying to find a non-cheesy name, something that had to do with location. And
I like that.
Yeah. I kind of sat on it for a while, but you know, luckily there's not a ton of chocolate shops, so nobody had it. And
especially in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So yeah, I just kind of like did that because I'm not someone where I want my name. Like, I don't want it to be about me. Like, I am somebody, especially because of having a shop and you're part of a neighborhood or like working out of my home and seeing my neighbors all the time. You know, it's like I don't know, community, you know, and New York is a big community. It's that weird juxtaposition where it's like isolating, but also you have this insane amount of community.
Yeah. No, you're true on that. I feel like Brooklyn is community, though.
Yeah, so totally.
What kind of chocolates are you going to be doing? Are they like bonbons? Are they filled? Are they whole chocolate? What's your...
Yeah, explain to our listeners what kind of chocolate
yeah, explain.
You have. So I'm going to be doing...
she has been doing it.
Yeah, so all sorts of, you know, anything to do with chocolate, like I'll probably be doing it. For now I have like 12 to 13 set flavors that I've been doing that I'm going to keep just as like, you know, signature stuff that people know and come back for. And
what are they?
Oh my God, I don't even know them all.
You don't have to name all 12, but what is the most popular one?
Let's see. People really like the Paradise, which is like passion fruit caramel, candied macadamia, and like a coconut ganache.
Nice.
So that one's really not for nut allergy people, but it's that one's really tasty. And then everybody loves like the hazelnut crunch
I love a hazelnut.
praline.
Yeah,
so
that's my shit.
Yeah, and the classic like salted caramel. You know, you got to have one of those.
Yes, exactly. I love salted caramel.
So filled bonbons is the focus, but then, you know, I'll have bars and whatever. I'm just going to basically like get started on the basics and then just add on to it as I start bringing in money because it's a lot. You can't just R&D. Like, you can't,
while you're also like trying to run an operation.
Yeah, because you're doing everything else and then the cost. So you kind of have to find a balance of like constantly coming up with new stuff, but also keeping it a little bit consistent because people also come back for certain things. So
right, you want some kind of consistency for people if they're like, I love that, I need to come back for it.
Totally.
What is your percentage on regular customers?
I don't know a percentage, but I feel like...
What do you mean regular customers?
Like people who come back.
People that come back to her.
Like regulars. Okay.
That's what regular customer means.
I don't know. I just was confused.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to what? As opposed to like family friends?
As opposed to like, I only bought from you once because I'm an asshole. I should buy from you every...
Oh my gosh. No, they're not cheap.
Never bought from you, so...
Yeah.
But they should be expensive because you're putting your whole heart to it, so it's not expensive.
Well, and I always tell people it's right around where C's Candy is. So if you want some perspective on, because people do say stuff about pricing, but I have adjusted things. So, you know, it's fair to market, but
wow, they're really pretty.
Thank you.
This one.
Oh yeah, I was just playing around with those ones. Those are vegan actually, so I'm gonna try and have stuff for kind of everyone.
I did see this. Did you post this the other day?
I have posted about you a few times.
Yeah,
I saw this photo and I was like, that's beautiful. I just like didn't even realize that was you.
Yeah, it's
Do you like chocolate though? Like,
I do. I love chocolate. Like, I eat chocolate. I mean, it's funny because right now I don't have any, and I had my friend who also has her own chocolate business, Borough Chocolates, based out of Boston.
Nice.
But she hooked me up. She'll like send me chocolate because I'm like, I miss chocolate. Like, I don't have any around, so she just hooked me up with some. So
where do you buy your chocolate from?
All Valrhona.
All Valrhona.
Yeah. Just because
it's the best.
And they're really good with working with chefs. They have in New York, you know, their school in Brooklyn. I just know the product. It's consistent. The price point is decent, you know, for what I'm doing. It's fair. So, like,
would you ever make a chocolate sculpture like they do?
I am going to have unpopular opinion about this, and those actually kind of, they're cool, but I just feel like it's a waste. I just know how much labor goes into chocolate, so it kind of bothers me just to make something to, like,
just to
throw it away.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool. It's an amazing skill that I wish I knew how to do it, but I just personally don't really agree with it. So, or not agree with it. It doesn't bother me when other people do it. No, we're the same.
We like sustainability.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a waste.
Yeah, like I don't even buy vanilla right now just because I can't really.
Oh, yeah?
I there's a lot that goes into, there's like vanilla cartels, like that's a whole thing, and I'm not knocking vanilla,
should do an episode on that.
Oh my God.
I didn't know about
this.
Because
it's so expensive, but I do use vanilla, but I just use it sparingly. I don't use it in every ganache.
I love vanilla.
I love vanilla too, but
I know it's
vanilla
amazing.
Cartels.
It's mostly the price though. It's not so, you know, it's like
but you don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know in those countries.
Yeah.
So do you like white chocolate?
I do. I think white chocolate's a great vessel for other flavors. So,
and color.
Yeah.
Because you could play with the color.
It's fun. And it's a neutral sweet. So people, when they say I don't like white chocolate, I think it's like that experience with like Hershey's, probably like cookies and cream bar or something.
I actually really love cookies and cream bars.
I like them, but I understand why people wouldn't.
You should do a cookie and cream.
I have a cookies and cream bonbon.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I got you.
Nicole does not look at your menu.
Yeah.
No, I honestly just looked at the website the first time right now. I'm sorry about that. But
it's okay.
I have like a
guilty
pleasure of Hershey's white chocolate.
I like Hershey's. Like, I actually don't mind it.
No, I don't like any other Hershey's. I just like the white chocolate one. But I for some reason, I'm not a huge fan of like sweets, but I really enjoy white chocolate.
Yeah. I like it because it's just something that you can kind of make it about that flavor, where like I use it for a lot of fruit-based stuff. Just because, when you have something peach, you don't necessarily want it to taste like chocolate, because white chocolate isn't actually chocolate. It's cocoa butter and milk solids.
Right. And so you can make it like manipulate it in however you want.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's beautiful and it's creamy and it's great.
Yeah, and it's fun for different applications or, even appearance sometimes.
What's the most exotic chocolate that you plan on using or that you have had, maybe?
Ooh, exotic? I don't know, honestly. Like,
shoot, I'm so sorry.
I don't know what would be the most exotic, just because Valrona's all pretty approachable chocolates. I don't know. I haven't really ventured out.
Okay, what's your favorite dark chocolate?
I really like the 72% from Valrona.
I used 100% the other day because I didn't read the chocolate bar.
Oh, really?
Ew. So I put it into the croissants. Like I had puff pastry.
Probably
so
still tasted good though.
No, they hated it. The family goes, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to be good, so I'm not trying to taste it." And then I had a bite, and I'm like, "You're an idiot."
Whoops.
And I put powdered sugar on it just to because I read the 100% after I made the thing, and it looked so beautiful. So I was like, I'm just gonna put some powdered sugar. Maybe it'll even it out. And they're like, "This is disgusting." Didn't say that. They said this is bitter.
Which
I really like the. Sorry if I'm saying this wrong. The Itakuja.
Oh, Itakuja. I don't know. We all have our weird way of pronouncing it.
Is that how do you say it?
I don't know. I think we said it jokingly at one of my jobs. We would say Itakuja. I don't know. I think that might have been our weird way to say it.
I don't know which one. Like, what is that? Like 50% or something? It's pretty dark.
I don't know the percentage of cacao, but it's fermented with passion fruit, I think.
Oh.
And I think that's part of the reason why it's super interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's
that's why it's like so floral.
Yeah, and like tangy. Like we actually used it in passion fruit curd, I think, or no, not curd. Like a mousse or something.
I remember
really
at Danielle when I would be there like late at night. I would have several
it's cool
chocolate
to eat
breaks.
On its own. Yeah.
I would be like, which chocolate should I go? I'm down there, like I need something, so I would just go and
fish boxes
have a little
chocolate
hour.
Yeah.
And I'd bring some to Jenna, or Raj would be like, it's chocolate o'clock. It's like,
yeah.
I ate so much chocolate there.
Raj was our most frequent. Him and Kareem.
Well, Raj would always supply me. He'd be like, here, it's chocolate o'clock. And then if he wasn't there, I'm like, it is chocolate o'clock. I have to go find some. He's not bringing it to me. And then it's usually like 8:30, 9 o'clock that he would come around.
It feels like you start to feel it too. Like I even feel like that, like just nightly. I'm like, oh, I haven't had my chocolate yet. Like, I need to it's after dinner. Like
I wonder if it's addictive.
Need it.
How does your family feel about your little chocolate business that's going to explode?
Let's hope. Everyone's very excited.
Don't forget about us when you.
Well, you guys are like some of the only people I know in New York, so you're definitely not going to be forgotten.
Yay! You'll always be a guest on Quiche My Ass.
Yeah.
So they're supportive. They're not like, wait, chocolate? What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. No, everyone's like very excited for me. So it's nice. I have a lot of support from family. I think that's like one of the hardest things though is like being out here and I'm doing it like alone. And then I'll like be like, wait, did anybody see that? That was cool. Like I just did that. Like, so it's kind of this interesting journey where I'm doing a lot of things, but sometimes you forget to like recognize that you're doing it. Yeah. And then beyond that, it's like I have Matthew, which I'm very blessed, and he's there when he can be, but, he works at Danielle. Like, he worked, 13 days in a row. And
do you think you're going to steal him completely so he could help you?
He wants that. I would. He's amazing front of house person. So, you know,
definitely an amazing front of the house person.
Yeah, and I like love alcohol. I love cocktails. I've always like wanted to integrate like champagne bar or something in the mix.
Oh, that would be nice if you had like chocolate and cocktails or something.
Or just like a flight with a flight or something. And who knows, because people don't come out just for desserts, so that would kind of turn into its own thing, and that's not like years from now.
Do you want to go into pastry as well?
People, I know plenty of people that would go out just for like a like
my parents.
Walking around after like dinner and you were too full to get a dessert at dinner, but then you see a cute chocolate shop.
Yeah.
Do you think your hours are going to be late? Because
I'm going to see how the neighborhood is. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be there working anyways, so I might as well just kind of have it like the door. And my spot's literally, there's not going to be chairs or anything. It's going to be like, come in, choose what you want. Like just enough foot space.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not ready to deal with like the liability of having like, you know, dealing with a full build out and having chairs and there's just different once you open up that Pandora's box, it just becomes this whole other thing of like permits. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to
I think outdoor dining is a thing. Like you don't need a permit anymore.
Outdoor, yeah, so I think.
But who wants to eat chocolates outside in the summer?
Yeah, I think it's more like you have 25 people plus, you have to have a bathroom for guests, and then once you have a bathroom for guests, you have to have like handicaps. So it's just like
I do want to say this though. We're going into the bathroom conversation. My mom really had to use the bathroom. We were in the Hamptons, and we were on a main strip, and 3 places said no, she can't use the bathroom, even though it wasn't a restaurant. One was a yogurt shop, another one was a coffee shop.
Oh, totally.
And then I was like, there should just be mandatory bathrooms.
Yeah, in general. Like I would totally let somebody use the bathroom because I've been in those situations.
Yeah,
but,
especially in New York, if you have to go to the bathroom, it's a nightmare.
Oh, and you're on the subway for 2 hours, then you get off, and then you have to like go buy something to like.
Well, I'm the bathroom queen. If you call me and you're anywhere in Manhattan, I will tell you where to go.
Word on the street is the M&M store in Times Square.
Barnes and Nobles, always. Crate and Barrel, Bloomingdale's. Always look for department stores, so like Saks. Or
like
Macy's.
Any place you would spend a lot of time at.
Yeah, like department stores. Honestly, it's
and they're
the
not
going
to turn down because there's also too many people working. They're not.
Where
gonna,
did I
care.
meet you when I bought chocolate?
We
Nordstrom Rack.
We went. Yeah,
we were in Nordstrom Rack. There's bathrooms in there.
Yeah,
like, I know the places to go to the bathroom because you need to go.
Yeah,
especially if you're out for the day. Like you're gonna have to go.
Totally.
Sorry, just wanted to.
It's a thing. It's
a
real
thing. If you are in Manhattan, because I feel like in other cities they don't care if you use their bathroom. Like in Portugal, like Lisbon, you're allowed to use anyone's bathroom.
Yeah.
So I just don't get why New York City is like, no, thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Well, because there's so many people, and this is another conversation, but there's so many people that come in and then they just don't leave, or they're like. I don't know.
Yeah, I was in Starbucks and somebody passed out in the bathroom from doing drugs, and then like nobody could go to the bathroom.
Yeah, they're like they
like,
don't want.
The fire department has to come and knock down the door. So
I get it, but I think it's just like we're not going to get into the drug world, but that's a different thing. But like
wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. But other countries have made drugs fully legal. And
decriminalized.
And addictions go down. So I think if bathrooms are public, there's going to be less crazy things going on in the bathrooms.
Word to that.
Right?
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Anyway, bathroom preaching over here.
Can we talk about how much you're charging for your chocolates? I have no idea. So I'm just wondering and I also think
they're not expensive.
But I do think...
Well, thank you.
They're not.
But I do think it's important to talk about it because people don't understand the cost that goes into these things. So they might be like, whoa, that's too much. But let's talk about like why they are the price they are. If I don't know how much they are. So
I mean, broken bodies. And
I mean, also they could go up when you open a shop, and they probably will, I would imagine.
Eventually. I kind of want to, I'm going to start. So I'm doing $3 a piece right now. And that's kind of like $3.25 with the box, and then if you just want to buy like separate bonbons, it'll just like if I just put them in a little bag, I'll have the option to just put it in a bag, and then that's like a little bit cheaper. I haven't really fully decided on pricing yet, but right now they're at around $3.25 a piece. But that's mostly has to do with like packaging prices because when I'm
packaging is such
it's crazy.
A nightmare.
It's crazy.
How's your consistency with the packaging? Because I know you're still starting out, so like, is it like has it changed? How many times?
It's a shit show. Like, that's funny because I'm just arguing with the packaging people right now. It's, it's a thing, and it's also mostly from other countries that are like overseas, so you have to pay freight, and like it takes forever, and then prices go up because freight change, or not freight, but whatever
everything
boat
changes,
shipping it's just always something. So but once you have it, it is worth it. It's just you're paying for a lot at once because I have like minimums, but when I ship, I have to use the boxes, so I just set the price at that because right now I'm just relying on shipping. So but when coming in store, it'll be a little bit more affordable than, because shipping's a whole liability thing on its own too.
Right.
So are you gonna ship once you open up the store?
I am. But I'm a little bit nervous about it because shipping is also a full-time job. Just like every detail checking. So annoying. And it's like
constantly checking for new orders, constantly checking to see if it arrived, when it ships, when the pickup. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's like we only have
it's chocolate.
So much control. Yeah, exactly. It's like
so most things melt.
Yeah, and that's so me. I'm like, let me choose the most difficult thing to work with, and also it melts when you look at it.
At least you're not shipping ice cream.
Yeah, during global warming, like let's do that.
Well, planes are always hot too. I doubt they're AC-ed airplanes like for your chocolate.
Yeah, so it's like a whole, and you figure it out, and you get to a point and you feel good about it, and then you have one big fuck up. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I can swear in here.
Definitely. There's an E on every episode.
Okay. But, and then you have one bit, and then you just feel like crap about yourself, but then also you have to just like, I think the big thing.
But then in that time, do you just send it again?
Yeah, I do. I always have, even when it's kind of not your fault, because
customer's always right.
And I'm building a reputation, and also it does suck because it isn't their fault that FedEx messed it up.
Do you sometimes think you're throwing away certain money because of certain customers?
I haven't gotten to that point because it's not super often that I have to do that.
That's good though.
And you can also like file a claim, and then also my overhead, because I don't have a staff and like I wasn't paying rent on a place. Yeah. It didn't. I had a little bit more of a room to make people happy, and you are building I feel like, for me, building a brand and a reputation, it just was really important to me. Just, I don't know, even with my self-pride and who I am as a person, like I want people to be happy of what they got because of how much work I put into something. So if that's somebody's impression of what I do, that bothers me. So it's kind of like a selfish thing also. So it kind of,
but you're also like building yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
so
like, to me, I'm like, what's the cost of something to kind of make this up to someone?
Right.
So it and it's all circumstantial. There have been times where I know that it's definitely not maybe real of what happened, but you kind of just like diagnose it and decide, what would be the best option of, I mean, fine dining, it's like you're thinking about the person at the table.
Yeah.
Where, like,
even though they might be a shitbag.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
They're like, I don't like this, and it's actually medium rare, and that's what they asked for. Yeah. But they're like, this isn't what I wanted. So then you just have to just suck it up and do it
totally. Because at the end of the day, we're in hospitality, and I am making this for people to enjoy. Yeah. So if I'm just constantly getting upset with people, then it's just, what's the point? Because you're literally making it for people that are paying you. That's the whole point of it. So that definitely gets lost in translation, I think, sometimes, even with kitchens, because we don't see the end result. We just like put stuff out and people enjoy it, and we have no idea.
Or we have no idea if they're enjoying it.
Yeah, that too. We don't really get to like see the other end of it. So I think that's kind of cool too about like my journey right now, is having, you get the direct bad feedback, which doesn't feel good. But then you also get the direct good feedback, or like the awe and the ooh.
Yeah, but the bad feedback is good for you. Like, even if it doesn't feel good, it's good that you have people who are telling you, because it's like, if I were to open a restaurant tomorrow, I would want Dahlia to be like, I didn't really like that, or that needed more salt.
Totally.
Have you had any trolls on your Instagram though?
Trolls as in like
people that just like hate your business in some way?
I actually have been pretty lucky. I haven't had any, I don't know. I haven't had any experiences with like stuff like that. I mean, sometimes you get like the weird questions where you answer one and then you have to answer a lot more, because I also like, people are learning and I don't mind, but then at a certain point it's like, okay, read a book. Like, okay, I'm done here. I have stuff to do.
Yeah, when people ask like Google questions on your DM.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, but also there's influencers that ask Google questions to their audience, and I'm like, can't you just Google that?
Yeah, it is kind of both ways. Yeah, totally.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So who's your like chocolate inspiration? Like, if you were to buy a cookbook, or like, who do you, when you're looking for chocolate inspiration, like, where do you go?
Honestly, Stick With Me Sweets, which is in the Lower East Side. She was one of the first big time chocolatiers that I knew. And I was already interested in chocolate. And then once I found out about her shop and her stuff, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, it set the bar high. And then there's Melissa Copel and Ramon Murado, and there's a lot of big names, but there's also just a lot of women that I've personally become friends with that I just like, we all kind of contribute something different.
Who's the one in Colorado that you were telling us about?
Her name's Leanne, and she has Colorado Cocoa Pod. And then I've become pretty close with my friend Betty, who's based in Boston, and she has Petrova Chocolates, and Jessica from Bliss, and there's a lot of people, Cocoa Therapy, and all the way in the UK.
Do you guys like share notes?
Oh, all the time. So it's been really nice to have such
that's nice.
It's so cool,
It's
and it's
not
all
like
these,
a competition.
No, and it's all these like really like badass women, so that also makes me
I
really
keep
happy.
telling Nicole, I'm like, we have too many women on the podcast, but like, this is great as well.
Yeah.
Well, women collaborate a lot better, and they don't feel like they need to hide their work. It's like, if I do something great, like, I want to tell you that I did it, because it could also make you better.
Yeah.
And it's like,
where criticism is accepted.
It's accepted, and it's not as like one for all, or it's, I don't know how to describe it, but having a community of women who are happy and like,
that must be nice.
Yeah, it's so cool. I've never been an internet person, and now I have like internet friends that I talk to just through, having to be there all the time, and then we all have different experiences, different things, and I honestly, without like the support of that, like, it would have taken me a lot longer to get to where I'm at, because sometimes people tipping you off or like telling you their experience, like, I mean, if I didn't talk to my friend from Bliss Chocolate, because she opened her storefront like a year ago, I think, maybe not even a year, but she just was telling me how much foot traffic she gets, and just like having just that, like, somebody's personal experience alone, like, kind of helped me towards making my own decision about something.
So what makes your chocolate different than other chocolates?
Well, I think, everybody's unique.
Besides the beauty of it, because yours are so beautiful. The colors are
They
crazy.
are so beautiful.
Yeah, I think, everybody has their own unique kind of style or avenue they're going towards.
You don't need to be humble right now.
But
go on.
I think it's more so the influence that I've had from exposure of past chefs, like Chef Gaia from Danielle, plated desserts, really crazy flavors, really creative, always outside the box. Like, for me, I'm like a rule follower. So like, if there's a plate, I'm going to plate it inside the plate. But she would paint on it, and, we're plating offside, and we're just doing all these things that kind of like, just really creative and with flavors. I think that was like the big thing. And then my old boss that I worked with for the Mina group, like Chef Josh, like his flavor profiles, and just, I was just really lucky to be exposed to such talented chefs. And so kind of like incorporating plated dessert type flavor profiles and like having more than just one element, kind of.
Yeah.
Wow, I need to eat some chocolate.
Your mouth is
well, you guys
watering.
like, definitely get some once I'm up and running.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually, I have one from, do you remember the tarte citron that we did at Danielle?
Which one was that one?
It was like the lemon one.
They
had it on the banquet.
Oh, yes, I do know which one you're talking
about.
I know which one you're
so
talking about.
So that one, I kind of have like, I kind of took a rendition of that, and I did like a crust, and then a curd, and then like a lemon omani marshmallow, which was totally inspired from that.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, because for people who don't like big desserts, you can go and you can have 2 chocolates and you get the best of both worlds. You get like a nice citrusy dessert.
Yeah.
And you...
Not as much calories.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and Chef would always say, you know, like, think about like an element of surprise.
Yeah.
It's always nice to kind of like, you know, so I have a lot of ones that have crunchy things in it because then you bite into it and you're like, oh, whoa, that's cool. I wasn't expecting that because there isn't a huge market for it. I think there's more emerging people now because of Instagram and, you know, COVID, and people are coming up with hobbies and stuff. But it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of failure, or not failure, but, you know, in essence, like, you fuck up a lot before you get it. So it's daunting and it's a lot of money. So cocoa butter is very expensive. So it's just...
Chocolate's not cheap.
No, it's not.
What's your recipe development like? Are you like actually doing R&D on these recipes, or are you just going with it and making what feels good?
Both.
Okay.
And then sometimes I don't even remember what I did to make something really good, and I'm like, God damn it. Like,
who's your taste tester, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. And then my
is he brutal with you though? Like, he'll tell you, no, this doesn't work.
He's honest. I actually really appreciate his opinion because he does have like a big wine background too. So I feel like he's like really absorbing all of it, and
that's nice.
He'll give me criticism that's like, oh, that's really good, but it would, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or, I don't know, that one's, like, not my favorite. So
nice.
That helps. Also, I just kind of make it for what I want to eat. So I'm like, I don't want to know your opinion.
Is there a flavor, though, that you're using that you just, like, can't stand, but, like, it's what people want?
I'm not... I get sick of certain ones, but I keep them around because people like it. But I liked all of them at some point because I kind of like selfishly make it because it's stuff I want to eat too. I'm like, this tastes good to me. Like, I want this.
Do you take requests if people are like, I want this, will you do it? Or do you kind of tell them what you do and then they decide?
In the beginning, to get customers, I would kind of like, oh, you want that? Like, I can make that work because I wasn't getting a ton of production and I had the time to do it.
Mind you guys, when she says it's in the beginning, it was literally like not even 2 years ago.
It's actually just a year this month.
Wow.
So
that's insane.
I know, it's kind of weird. I forget it. I'm so, like, I put so much pressure on myself. I forget, like.
It's only been a year.
Yeah. So wait, I forgot what we were sorry. I'm like,
no, it's okay.
I'm already thinking about other shit.
I know. I'm sorry.
No,
I just wanted to, like, because people are like in the beginning, and I'm like, no, this bitch literally just started doing this, and she's already like exploding.
But how much are you selling right now? Like, you said.
Nicole wants numbers for.
No, I don't know why. I'm just.
She's
so
like,
interested.
I'm interested
like,
in
maybe one day I'll open a chocolate shop. Even though I'm definitely not opening a chocolate shop.
Yeah, it's well, it's funny because. So in the beginning, it was like, I feel like it all kind of happened to grow.
Yeah.
And then I was featured in the Washington Post like 2 weeks before Valentine's Day, and I was crushed.
I saw that. When I saw the Washington Post, the first thing.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Why the Washington? How did you get in the Washington Post?
She found me on Instagram.
Wow.
Her name's Daniela, and I looked her up.
When I saw that, by the way, I'm like, she's gonna get fucked over for Valentine's Day. First thing I thought.
It was.
And then I messaged you, and you're like, I'm fucked.
I am like fucked.
I think that's what you wrote.
Yeah. And Matthew is so funny because I actually kind of liked it because I feel like now you know what I'm going through, kind of a thing. But my email was linked up to his phone, so he was getting all the shop orders.
God.
I had to shut off the shop after like an hour.
You said that
because it didn't stop, and then I had people emailing me like, I want to be on the list. Like,
did you expect that though when she was interviewing you?
She didn't even interview me. I had no idea what it was going to be.
Wait, what?
So it was really cool how it happened. So we actually went up north to I don't know, somewhere upstate.
In New York.
And we just went for like a weekend because it was like, you know, we just need to get out, did an Airbnb thing.
Yeah.
And then while I was heading up there, she messaged me just like, hi, I'm from the Post. So I was thinking, is this some bootleg thing from
Post.
Brooklyn?
Right. Yeah.
Or like, is it the New York Post? Like, cool, anything I'm down with. She said, I'm going to be including you in my piece for Valentine's Day. Just give me a little tidbit about yourself and send like a high resolution picture with the photographer's name. So I was just thinking, you know, some little like thing at the end of a magazine or newspaper where it's like, Borough Chocolate. No, it was like right in the middle.
Yeah,
of,
it was
like,
literally
the Washington Post.
Yeah, I like had no idea. And so it was kind of just, it was also like, you know, because I started out of COVID and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And so it's kind of on that, but.
Did you get a copy of the Washington Post with you on it?
actually didn't.
Oh, you should have.
I didn't. I screenshotted it, but I didn't know where to like actually get.
Yeah, where'd she go into DC?
I'll go. When was it?
It was January 31st of 2020.
Wow. Well, it was a
I
good
could ask
day.
some friends,
That's
hey,
for
you have
sure.
any old newspapers?
So
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, was it like 113% more sales, like just that day?
Oh, it was crazy. It was like, I mean, I was getting so many orders, but what's cool is that a lot of people after that continued to order,
Which is great.
and it got such a small world that a friend that I worked with in New York, it was before Danielle. It was like a job stint I had right before Danielle. We worked together there and we became friends. She was working at a bar in DC where she moved, and she was talking about me, and one of her patrons was like, "Oh, Jessica, Borough Chocolates, like I love her chocolates. I just ordered from there."
That's so crazy.
So it
crazy.
was, and she messaged
That
me.
gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I was
This
so
was
excited.
too.
And then
Like-
he ordered chocolates for her, and I like upped the box to like give to her because he goes into her bar all the time. But
Where does she work?
I don't know. I actually don't even know the bar. But yeah, so it was just like a weird, just like synchronicity things have been happening this past year where I'm like,
That's so awesome.
yeah, it was crazy. And then and then I did the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Isn't that insane? Nicole didn't know about this either.
I didn't know about any of this.
I knew all this.
Yeah,
so.
I did the gift bags for that, so that was really cool because it got.
Because you got tagged in a few times, right?
Yes, but because they are like a business, your brand doesn't get tagged. So it's like I was in famous people's posts, but like everything was missing about my brand name.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah. So, but I did get a couple celebrity orders.
How
which is
did
cool.
how did you get there to the
Wow.
VMAs like gift box?
Or the MTV.
MTV, sorry.
Yeah, it's like the Movie and TV Awards. I got messaged by somebody that she Backstage Creations. Her name's Karen, and she's been doing it. Basically, she started the gift bags and started it with like I think TRL.
Oh, okay.
And she was kind of the one that started it in the 90s, and it'd be like the gifting suite idea where people basically you like provide your product in turn for promotion.
But
in
it
essence.
wasn't promoted as much as you wanted.
It's more on like you get exposure, but it's more about like gaining the celebrity
Got it.
consumer.
Isn't
part
it
of
crazy how much free stuff celebrities get, even though they're not
Even though they
afford
could
it?
afford
Oh,
it.
yeah. I mean, it's always like that. I mean, even in restaurants, the people get comped are the people that are
Oh,
important.
yeah.
So
exactly, and then they tip like $20, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Bitch, your meal was free."
Right.
Yeah, but in the same sense, it's like they like you provide, I provide kind of a thing. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
like this, and it's just cool street cred. So
Are you allowed to say like any celebrity that you have sent chocolate to?
I don't know.
It's
Probably
okay, you don't
not,
have
but,
to. Were you
yeah.
starstruck when you saw the name?
I had to look them up because I actually don't know who people are. But I did have a lot. I got like the list of people that got it, and it was
that's
like
nice.
a lot of A-list people.
Yeah.
So also future stuff, but at least it was in their hands, which is cool to me. So
Have you provided your chocolates for any chefs that you like? To me, I feel like for celebrities, whatever. I mean, it's cool because you'll get the press, but like chefs that really found
That like
it.
don't have a chocolate program,
That
because a
don't
lot
have
of
a
people
chocolate
don't have
program,
chocolate
or-
programs.
yeah.
like if Danielle ate one of your chocolates and all of a sudden he's like, oh my God, whose chocolate is this? I need this. You know what I mean? Like,
he actually did. I think he was like, "Oh, you make these? Where do you make them? You make them on your own? Okay." So he did actually, because I brought them in for the pastry team when I was first doing it.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
I was like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And then I like gave them stuff. But I did it for a catering, like a high-end catering service back in California in Marin.
Oh, nice.
But that's really the only time that I've provided it for that kind of a purpose. But
I've used yours for my parties,
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I did.
That's what you did.
like 2
yeah.
or 3 parties.
Yeah.
Because it's great. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but like no one gives a fuck about the dessert when I make dessert for like a 5-course meal.
then something you can take
But then
home.
it's the chocolate in the
Yeah.
middle, and everyone's like, chocolate.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm like,
the ganache. Everybody
Yeah.
loves chocolate. People don't feel guilty. They feel guilty if
It's
they have a
bite-sized.
whole dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like a bonbon is kind of more approachable because you don't feel like, oh my God, I'm eating a piece of cake. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I'm eating
bite
one.
size. Like it's like sushi.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
sushi.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like chocolate sushi.
Yeah, exactly. I eat it in 2 bites, but
Well, I probably.
Oh, you're so classy.
Well, no, it's just because, like, I don't know why. I don't know. I'm like, I like going back for seconds.
You also like to, like, look at your creation, probably.
Yeah.
Like, look at the inside. Do you sometimes cut into it and you're like, what the fuck did I just make?
I think, like, chocolate is so, like, you have to do it a certain way or it just doesn't work out. I mean, there's times where, like, you try and rush it, and that's when I'm like, but I know I'm doing it, and I know I'm going to fuck myself over. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, why did I think this was going to work, you know?
Right.
But I don't think that, I think chocolate's one of those things that if it, like, looks good, it normally is kind of good. Like, if you look at the bottom sealed, you know, like, most of the time it'll work out. Because if I see I'm doing something wrong, I throw it away.
Do your bonbons look the same from the beginning to now? Like from when you first started?
Not at all. Half of it has to do with money and sourcing. Okay. So I wasn't getting as much cocoa butter. I didn't have as good of an airbrush. And then also, I'm some, like, you know, cooks. It's like you're just all trying to make stuff better all the time. Yeah. So it's obviously
practice
like,
makes perfect.
Grown a lot.
In a year, guys.
Wow. Like, sometimes I'm, like, looking at the stuff, like, bless everybody's hearts who bought from me early, because I'm like, I sent you trash. I apologize. Like, complete garbage. But thank you for being supportive.
Rosa bought from you. She's the one that told me about you.
Oh, my God,
if I
yeah.
buy,
and that was a long time ago.
Ugh, I know. I'm, like, embarrassed. I'm like, I don't even want to remember what I gave people.
I think it was, like, in a little box.
Yeah.
And they weren't separated. I think it was just, like, all in one row, which is fun. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, cool, my friend's making something.
Yeah.
So if people want to buy from you, they buy through website?
Yeah, or then I'll have in-store stuff. Right now I have production shut off just because I need to get the store.
Yeah, you do.
Just, like, it's a nice mental space to kind of, like, what do I need to fix? Like, how do I... And then, you know, I redid my website. So just having the time to kind of...
So what's your website called so people can go on?
BoroughChocolates.com.
And can you spell Borough?
Boroughh.
Okay, because I went to a school called Borough and it's Boro. So...
Oh, funny. Yeah, I know. Well, what's funny is people usually get the borough right, but people misspell chocolate.
Well, how many times have you misspelled restaurant?
That too.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to...
Restaurant?
Yeah.
Like, I have to say it to myself.
Spelling restaurant is like working in a restaurant, guys. It's not the easiest, and you will fuck up.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, spell check.
Yes, seriously.
Dahlia, did you bring a...
Okay, so we have a segment on our podcast called Munchbox. Oh, do you have to keep explaining what Munchbox is?
Well, we have to explain it to the guests.
I can guess. I like it.
So I decided to bring something. I have to get it.
What if it was her own chocolates and we made her try them with her eyes closed?
As long as it's not gooey duck, I'm fine.
So this is crazy because we're talking about chocolate, and I got my favorite chocolate.
Ooh.
Can you guys guess what it is?
I have no idea.
Your favorite chocolate. What state did you buy this in?
What do you mean? It's here. No, it's not like a small business at all.
No, that's what I mean. Like, was it here in New York or Jersey?
This is from Target, so this is like...
Is it Lindt?
Okay. Target.
No, Lindt.
Oh.
I like Lindt.
Oh, is it Dove?
No.
I really like Dove chocolate for some weird reason.
No. It's not American.
Oh, not American?
It's not American. I don't know where it's from, but I know it's not American.
Is it SCH?
No, it's not a classy one, so don't even think classy.
Oh, God.
Even though I think it's classy. We got them Kinders!
Oh,
I got you a Kinder. I got you a Kinder.
Thank you.
I got all the listeners a Kinder. Maybe we'll do a Kinder sweepstake.
I was honestly hoping for
I personally love Kinder bars.
Yeah, I like.
They're
them too,
so good.
Yeah. I feel like they're everywhere in Europe, right? Like
they're everywhere. No,
it's like the Hershey's.
This is the Hershey's of Europe. But I had friends from Germany come, and they were like, "What the fuck is this Kinder bar?" And I was like, "What? This is not." Supposedly they don't make it the same here.
It's really fun. This packaging
it's fun. It's for kids. There's a toy on one side. I like Kinder bars. This is the egg. This is full of excitement.
I like this little.
It's a little spoon.
It's a spoon?
It's a spoon because this is like a scoop of chocolate. It's like balls.
Really?
Yeah. And then there's
toys.
Whoa.
Toy on one side, and you have to build it.
Cool.
I think I like Kinder because I'm just obsessed with hazelnut. Like,
and they're like
I am so basic when it comes to chocolate and I don't know if that's like an insult to you or not.
Not at all. I'm not pretentious about my chocolate.
It tastes like a Ferrero Rocher.
Oh, does it?
Well, I only ate one of the chocolate pieces.
You have to have the cream. The chocolate bar is amazing, though. Like, I wish I bought the chocolate bar. But you know what? Life goes on. I'm trying to, like, build my toy here.
Oh, yeah. I'm into that.
Right?
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Kinder bars. Oh. I'm trying to build my... So, you think chocolate's going to be your route to retirement?
Your get rich quick scheme.
Will I retire? There's no quick about it. There's no getting rich. I've always liked the when I was working in Kohler Chocolates in Napa. It was funny because I actually was joking with my old boss, and because one of his interview questions was like, "Do you want to open a chocolate shop?" Because chocolate's very, I don't want to say it's secretive, but it's like once you give people the tools, then they can kind of go open their own shop. Right. So it's like you want to protect it a little bit. And I was like, no, because at the time I didn't. Like, I thought I was going to be pastry chef of a restaurant, but now I'm like doing it because it.
And you're just like.
Yeah, so it's funny, but I think it's like a clean. There's not a ton of waste, which is I really like about it because chocolate you can keep remelting and using.
That's nice. That's a great way to look at it.
It's not like a lot of fresh produce, I'm using like purees that, are you get a long shelf life from the sugars that you add and how much sugar. And so, they have a pretty long shelf life and you just, calculate your recipes. And of course you have mess ups and stuff like that. But compared to, having fresh produce and things like that, like you're not throwing a ton of stuff away.
So. Have you shown your chocolate to your mentors and the people like to Chef Gaia or to these people? Have you brought your chocolates to them and asked their opinions?
I haven't so much asked for opinions, but I have sent chocolate to my old boss in California, and then I actually brought them because Chef Gaia also opened a Pernod spot, which is like, it's so good. The food is so yummy. It's in Long Island, and I went there and visited her and got some stuff. And then, I don't know, have you guys been?
I did, but it was like the first week she was barely open, so I need to go back. I mean, she had like...
I'd love to go. I haven't gone.
I'll go again. And it's also like not far from, because you just get on the G from where my shop is. And then takes you right there to like, I think Court Square is like where you get off. But so I brought her some, and it was like around the holidays. So I brought them, but just because also like, thank you, like, this is what I'm doing now. Thank you for everything, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been lucky to have, like, some pretty supportive.
I want to go back to all your pastry jobs. How many of those restaurants had a chocolate program besides Danielle? Because I know.
Well, so actually, none of them besides Michael Mina. Okay. And when I was there, my boss, Chef Josh, he took over after Nick Muncie, I think. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure of the like exact lineage of pastry chefs, but Nick came after him. Sorry, I'm messing this all up. It's been a while since I've been in California.
That's okay.
So I have like California brains and like New York brain, but
different brains, by the way.
Very different.
Yeah.
I was just in LA for a week, and I don't mind staying in it.
It's like a whole new set of people, and
it's so it's completely different.
So
it's just crazy because it's the same country, but it's just like
it's basically different countries though.
It is.
It's like each state is kind of its own country. I feel, especially at this point.
Yeah, and coasts.
Yeah,
different
exactly.
Coasts. Yeah,
totally. And obviously weather has like a big effect on everything. But
you know what's crazy? What I've noticed?
Yeah.
There's more beach people here than there are beach people there. I think because the beach is always there.
And because the beach is so cold there. Like, you can't exactly
where I'm from?
Well, even in San Diego, the beach is cold. Like, it was not cold, but
you have to go at like a certain time of year, but also you have to like drive to all of it. Whereas like out here, we're trapped inside for 8 months because of winter, and then it comes and we're like, woo!
2-hour drive to the beach, gotta go.
Yeah,
ferry ride. Don't mind waiting for 3 hours.
Yeah, don't mind. It takes me like a day to get to Rockaway and back, but
it's worth it.
Yeah. But it is nice to be able to not have to like worry about like, because also drinking on the beach, like I'm
Yeah.
definitely doing that. So not having to worry about like driving back.
You can do
is-
anything on the beach here. I think in the West Coast you can as well. But,
Oh, yeah.
Not in Jersey. In Jersey, you're not allowed to do anything.
Because you have to.
Maryland,
well,
they could care less. Do whatever you want on the beach.
in Jersey, you have to pay a fee to get onto beaches.
You have to pay to get on the beach. You have to
Yeah.
pay for parking. Some places you're not even allowed to bring food on the beach.
I still want to go to Seaside sometime in my life.
To what? To see the Jersey Shore?
Well, just because I'm like, that looks so fun to be a degenerate for a week. Like, I'll do that.
I was talking to my coworker who we're going
Yeah.
to dinner with tonight, actually, and one of these weekends we were like, you know
No.
what? When we get off work, let's drive to the Jersey Shore.
I don't know. There's
You
just-
know what? It is
Yeah.
an experience, and it's so funny because Dave
love dive
Portnoy
shit.
from Barstool was just,
Oh, yeah.
he's been going to the Jersey Shore because I keep telling him about like the pizza there and stuff, and he goes, "This is my first time at the Jersey Shore, and I'm surprised on actually how nice it is because it's such." Everyone talks so much shit, but you go to Jersey, the shore is great, the food is good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, because you get like a huge slice of pizza for
Totally.
like $3, and here $3 is the size of your one small slice of pizza.
Totally.
So, I'll take you guys.
Yeah. We'll have
Let's
to go.
do it.
I
I'm
did
down.
the poof of my hair and tanned. I did do
God,
it.
You're terrible.
Oh, really?
Okay, well, I think I'm going to end it there at Dahlia's
Oh, all right.
poof and
Dahlia's
tan
poof.
skin.
Making plans.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys at the Jersey Shore next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
I'm there.
Everybody follow
Borough Chocolates.
Borough Chocolates
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Get ready to place your orders because she's not currently accepting orders.
We have
but-
chocolate subscriptions too, which will happen
Ooh.
4 times a year, and you'll be billed monthly or every 3 months or whatever. So it's like $75, or I might do a price range, but those and gift cards are available right now.
Wow, I could use a chocolate subscription
Yeah.
in my life. All right, well, thank
Yeah.
you very much for
Yeah,
coming.
Thank you
guys.
so much.
All right.
And we literally hope for the best.
Oh, thank you guys.
Like,
Means
seriously.
a lot. Thank you.
Support
Definitely.
right here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Quiche My Ass Pod or on YouTube. Subscribe and watch our fine asses.